Hello, this is Real World Audio, and today we are talking a little bit about movie time and also about EQ of movies and recorded material. I could have used examples today, like for example, taking Madonna, her earlier recordings, like a Virgin, and others. They had like a severe tilt in the EQ, which was like extremely hot highs and pretty much bass shy. And when you look at her later recordings, like Ray of Light, that one you can pretty much you play on an audiophile system, or I would say a properly put together audio system that goes for high fidelity without any EQ, and it sounds great. But if you would play like a Virgin or many of the 80s songs on an audiophile system, it sounds just so hot you can cook eggs and bacon on it. And something similar is happening here. That's why I'm showing it, because we have just watched all 8 movies, and which was issued recently. Actually, we just got it recently on Blu-ray, and it's really funny. I would say not funny, because when you look at the first movies, and as you go through them in a progression, so the sound changes. And for those of you who don't know, Harry Potter is a series. Basically, the shooting of these movies, each of these DVD or Blu-ray, it represents one book, the film made of one book, and the next one is the next book. So basically, it's a series of 8 films which were shot over the course of a decade. So the actors who are kids in the beginning, they grow up to young men and women by the end. And it's not just the age of the actors and the maturity of the theme that changes, but the sound quality goes through quite a bit of a change through these movies. And I would say that this is a really good example for everyone to learn about, because let's see that those guys who made like, let's say like the fifth movie or something like that, the director and the mastering crew, the recording crew, the sound crew, they watched all of those that came before it. So they had those as example to follow, and as we see, they did not really follow very much the previous movies, because when I was playing the first movie and even the second and the third, the sound in these movies was pretty similar, and I could play them with an EQ that's very close to natural. So if you play it in a movie system or on a 2-channel, I played it on my 2-channel stereo. That's what's hooked up to the projector, and so in this setup, the top end was just 2 dB hotter than neutral. And what is neutral? Under neutral, I mean the EQ that is used for classical music. So when you listen to classical music recordings, like orchestral recordings made in concert halls, and you can pick anything from the 40s through 2020, the EQ of them is most likely 0, so that's flat. And compared to that, when we go for pop music, then the EQ like tilts up really severely for the top frequencies. In pop music, we often can find recordings that are plus 10 or even plus 20 dB too hot for the high frequencies. And we can see a similar problems in the bass. If we go to the 80s, then in the bass we see like a minus 10 dB drop, or nowadays we can see like a plus 10 or plus 15, 20 dB boost, because nowadays everyone is going deaf and we need like extreme high end and extreme top end to have some sort of high frequency coming out of your cell phone and some seeming apparition of bass, because our small cell phones and tablets, they cannot reproduce low end, so everything that's low frequencies, they have to be boosted the heck out of it, so that kids today can enjoy it over their cell phones, so it makes those crackling sounds a little bit louder than normal. So this is something that changes over the ages, and here in the movies we can see this change as well. So in the beginning everything is flat, and when we reach the sixth movie, where is it, here, when we reach number 6, then it's not minus 2 dB for the upper mid bass, and I'm sorry, for the upper mid range and top end, we needed to knock it down 2 dB for 1 through 5, and then at 6 I needed to knock it down 4 dB, and then 7 and 8, guess what, I had to knock down the upper mid-range and the high frequencies 14 dBs to make it level. Yes, 4 dB. So that's more than that's like 25 times more energy in the high frequency than what is normal. So that was kind of really saddening, and if you do not have the capability to knock down the high frequencies, then these last movies will be extremely painful and excruciating, like the excruciating curse for you. But if you start with the early movies, that's not going to happen. That's going to be quite nice. So I think that's my message for today, is that when you listen to either to music or movies, then their EQ is all over the board, and really, if you want to enjoy everything, then you need to have the ability to change the playback EQ in your system. Sadly, when we have that ability, most of those methods that can achieve it, they degrade a lot from the sound quality. And now, of course, many of you will say that that's not true. You just put in DSP and then you can adjust, and you can put like an adjustment here and there, and you can make it work. But guys, I have to add that whenever you add an extra step that makes an adjustment possible, you are taking away quite a bit from the sound potential of your system. Each element that you add to your chain takes away much more than what you would think. I would say, sadly, not many audiophiles have experienced a truly hot-rodded purist system that has just the minimum number of elements to transform the recorded material into sound. And when it's a direct path, it's like a lightning bolt. There's not many opportunities to change the sound, but when you add more along the way, then all of those additions will cause ripples in the sound and change it, and of course it will make the end result sound more controlled. You will have the impression that you are gaining control and you are doing improvements. But when you manage to achieve ultimate resolution loudspeakers, then you will notice that every added step along the way takes away tremendous amount of low level information. Yet all hope is not lost, and I will reveal that there is a way how to deal with the EQ in an audiophile way, and I would say not just in an audiophile way, but in a purist way. So if you have two-way loudspeakers, you can do it yourself, and just stay tuned for it. And everyone have a wonderful evening, and when you listen to movies, just make sure that you have the ability to enjoy it without blowing your ears. Bye bye.